Thanks for joining us in this edition of Renovation Time, where we're back at the main level renovation, and today we're going to talk about the flooring that's going to go down and the paint color. So as you can see in here, this is the old style plank flooring. So when you pull anything up from this flooring, number one, it's really hard to get up, and number two, the plank flooring is notorious because it gets really dry, so it squeaks very badly. So what we're going to do here is we're going to put a 1/2-inch plywood down on the entire floor, screw it entirely down, and then we're going to add a 3/4 inch hardwood to this entire area. So virtually the main level of this house will all be hardwood. And the other one option we did, which is sometimes a much nicer option to do, is we actually put the casing and the jamb on first. And what that allows us to do is when our hardwood guy comes in and he's going to lay his 1/2 inch and his 3/4 inch hardwood, he can just take a saw, cut everything so it fits perfectly, and then slide his hardwood underneath. That way we don't have to worry about gaps, and it just seems to work out a lot nicer. And it's a little bit more work maybe to cut it when you put it down, but I think at the end of the day it gives you a much better and finished product. The other thing in here too, even when you step here, you can feel a lot of squeaks. And when you're doing a rental like this, because it is a plank flooring, and a lot of times these have 3/8 of an inch gap between, and if you look here, actually there's lighting there, but you can see the gap going through here. So when you start peeling up all the flooring and all the tile and all the hardwood, a lot of debris ends up going down to the basement. So when you're doing this type of thing, you could spend 4 to 5 hours just completely cleaning the basement in order to get it clean before you continue the renovation. So when we come back, we're going to talk about the paint color. All right, welcome back to Renovation Time. Now we're going to talk about paint color. So I walked in here, and that's the first time I've seen it since it's been painted, and it's a really bold gray color that's on the walls, and I think it looks incredible. It's one of the nicest colors going right now, and I think if you're brave enough to put a dark color on, go for it, because I think it really enhances the look of the room. So what the customer did is they did a lighter, it's almost like a beigey, looks almost like a little bit of a beigey gray color on these walls. And then if you look into the kitchen, you can see there's a much darker gray that runs through. Actually, there's an accent wall behind the camera, then into the kitchen, and then as well into their, I guess you'd call it their formal family room. So it's a really, you can tell the contrast here if you look in this wall, because our kitchen's going basically in this entire area. So look at the contrast of that paint. So if you can brave it and you're willing to, commit to a real dark color, you can always change it. It's only paint. I would suggest picking something that's really bold, because it really enhances an entire renovation. The other thing in here, as I mentioned a couple episodes ago, is the archways are all finished. So Kevin, if you just turn here, a lot of times what we would do is do a drywall return on all our archways and then mud them, and then you would paint them. But you can see the difference with all these arches. They're all trimmed out nicely. They all have the MDF jamb, our doors here. And because of the contrast of the dark gray color and then the semi-gloss, it's probably a cloud white on the actual trim and the jambs, it really gives it a lot of pop. So consider that in your next renovation, but we'll continue to come back here, and next week's flooring, and then hopefully after that we'll have the kitchen in a couple weeks. We'll pretty much have this thing licked up. So thanks for joining us on this edition of Renovation Time.
Renovation Time is brought to you by Andon Kitchen and Bath Center. Come talk to the people who know kitchens and bathrooms. Andon Kitchen and Bath Center.